afternoon and welcome to News Track, coming to you live from our Rayfield studio. My name is Modesty Nyanglong. Following due consultation with leaders of all market unions in Jos North Local Government Area, Chairman Jos North Local Government Council Christopher John has directed that all markets will remain open today, Thursday. A statement signed by his Chief Press Secretary, Mercy Chuang, instructs traders and business owners to go about their normal activities without fear or hindrance. The statement urged all law-abiding citizens to conduct their daily businesses and routines as usual, stressing that security measures have been strengthened to ensure safety and order in all markets across the local government area. It assured that everything is under control and that the council chairman remains committed to maintaining peace and stability in Jos North. It appealed to everyone to go about their activities peacefully and report any concerns to the necessary security operatives. Achieving a $1 trillion economy by 2030 will depend on necessary data for planning, effective social intervention, and risk mitigation. Commissioner of Budget and Economic Planning Adams Lekshak made the assertion at a one-day sensitization training for Central Zone stakeholders held at the MNS Resort, Pangshin. Details of the report by Mangu Zonal Correspondent Rangnan Ignatius is continued from our studio.
The sensitization training for Central Zone stakeholders in preparation for achieving the medium-term National Development Plan 2026 to 2030 and the Renewed Hope World-Based Development Program. The training brought together local government chairmen, councillors, traditional rulers, religious leaders, directors of budget from the zone, as well as other stakeholders. The Commissioner of Budget and Economic Planning Adams Lekshak noted that the program will map potential economic activities, human capacity and infrastructure in every federal and state boards in Plateau State. Lekshak, while appreciating Governor Caleb Mutfong and President Bola Tinubu for approving the training, challenged participants to champion the process, engage citizens towards building a resilient, inclusive economy, and deliver the time is now and renewed hope agenda to every household in Plateau State and Nigeria at large. Chairman of Kanke Lapchung Ezekiel and that of Bokos Amalau Samuel appreciated both the federal and state governments for their foresight, adding that the bottom-up approach will lead to the holistic development. The Ngolangas Ndejika Ngolit, represented by Ruma Kadunglawi Bulus, thanked all stakeholders for the visionary and grassroots-focused leadership initiative to better the less privileged and call for more of such. Director Planning in the Ministry of Budget, Ayuba Dakop, drilled participants on how to accurately complete the questionnaires. Ayuba Dakop said providing accurate information will ensure better allocation of facilities to benefit the various wards in the state. Representative of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Ephraim Gwan, and that of Jamaatul Nasr Islam, Nudu Ibrahim, noted with appreciation the vision behind the initiative and assured of mobilizing citizens for its success. Climax of the sensitization training were questions, answers, and clarifications from participants.
Similarly, Plateau State's Commissioner of Budget and Economic Planning, Adams Lekshak, addressed the Northern Senatorial Zone stakeholders during a one-day sensitization training at the local government level. Our correspondent completes the report.
The one-day training organized by the federal government and the Plateau State government through the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning was designed for local government chairmen, councillors, traditional rulers, and religious leaders in the Northern Senatorial Zone. Plateau State Commissioner, Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Adams Lekshak, said the federal government introduced the Renewed Hope World-Based Economic Development Program to map potential economic activities, human capital, and infrastructure in every federal ward and for Plateau State in every state ward. He explained that the program will enable government to collect the necessary data for proper planning, more effective social interventions, and risk mitigation in line with the Renewed Hope agenda.
The Renewed Hope World Development Plan is the initiative of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it's to kickstart development from the world level to the local government, to the state, and the national.
Lekshak called on the stakeholders to champion the process, engage citizens, and own the program and its outcomes. The Bongom Josda Jacob Gyangbuba, who was represented by the Ata 10 of Ganauri, Yakubu Chaimang, described the program as a laudable initiative.
This is a thing of joy, and I'm very, very sure that since the government even at the federal level, is concerned with this. I think it is something that we should be very, very proud about.
Chairman Jos South Local Government, Silas Dung, and the representative of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Ishaya Azi, appreciated the organizers for the people-driven initiative and prayed that the vision will become a reality. I am Bol Chitpam.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast the 2026 rainy season to begin mid-May, while planting is expected to commence from May 30th in Plateau State. This development holds significant implications for farmers and food production in the state. In this report, our correspondent looks at the potential effects of timing on crop yield and food security. The report. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, recently forecast the start of rain in Plateau State between May 9th and May 24th, with planting expected to begin from May 30th. The prediction has stirred both optimism and cautious planning across the farming communities that rely on timely rains for crop production. Agriculture is one of the major occupations of the Plateau people, with crops such as maize, rice, beans, millet, groundnut, and potatoes, among others, being cultivated. These crops depend heavily on timely rainfall. According to the Deputy Director Extension Plateau Agricultural Development Program PADP, Mavreng Satdom, last year, irregular rainfall patterns left several farmers counting losses as crops either withered under dry spells or matured unevenly. He urged farmers in the state to use the forecast as a planning tool, recommending the planting of early maturing and drought-resilient crop varieties.
And our advice for farmers is that they should go for early duration, early maturing crops. Planting early and planting at the right time is what will bring bountiful harvest. And so I'm advising farmers, start early so that they will get what they want. And then they should seek for advice also from agricultural extension staff. We have them all over. And some will say that they are not seeing them. They are there and they are working. And if they find it, if it's not too far from, if they are not too far from this office, they are permitted to come here and receive advice.
A farmer in Jos North, Godwin Ugu, noted that timely rains are essential, not just for planting, but also for crop survival and growth.
The effect, if the rain starts late, it means we are not going to have abundance crop production, because the earlier it starts, the better for us.
Other farmers who spoke, Amos Wakili and Nenpan Suli, said they have started clearing their farmlands in preparation for the farming season, stressing that farmers across the state need to be supported with up-to-date climate information, improved seedlings, among others.
Right now, I'm ready to start farming when the rain is available.
As the expected date approaches with necessary precautionary steps taken, Plateau farmers are hopeful that this season will bring better yield. In Jos, Modesty Nianglong. Jos, the Plateau State capital, is witnessing yet another climatic change as thick, hazy wind, best described as Harmattan, has taken over the atmosphere. Our correspondent sought to note possible implication and best precautionary measures associated with the weather. The reports.
Harmattan is a dry and dusty wind that blows from the Sahara Desert over West Africa, usually between late November and mid-March. In places like Jos, Plateau State, Harmattan often comes with cold, creating a thick haze that lasts for days, causing affected citizens to cough and sneeze. However, this year's Harmattan has taken an unusual turn, as explained by a member of the Plateau State Climate Change Assembly, Zenred Zamani. According to him, the current haze is largely due to seasonal Harmattan, which is intensified by heavy dust particles and urban emissions.
Is the tropical continental air mass and the tropical maritime air mass. So right now it is the maritime air mass that they not easterly. That is the northeastern winds that is trying its best to actually push out the tropical continental air mass, that is the tropical maritime winds, southern easterly, back to the southern part of the country, so that it will actually get an ascendance within the plateau. So it is actually a normal Harmattan season and a period that tends to that we actually have. It is cultural. However, it is being driven by some of the impacts or as a result of the change within our climatic conditions.
Dr. Tedo Martins of the Comprehensive Health Center Dadinkowa says the facility has recorded a rise in respiratory tract infections and tuberculosis cases in recent weeks. Dr. Martins highlighted some precautionary measures citizens can imbibe to maintain healthy state.
We put on nose masks, just like you see me just removing my own. Yes, to reduce the dust that we're going to be inhaling from our environment. It's also important for us to stay hydrated, to drink enough water because of the sun and how the weather is harsh. So we need to, because more water we drink. If we drink less water and then there's evaporation in terms of the hot weather, we are going to run into dehydration and as well low immunity.
Some citizens, Jessica Naji, Ejike Egede, and Dambak Ishaya, shared their experiences.
I have experienced catarrh, but that was like last 2 weeks.
The weather became different and it come with some catarrh or cough. Like
experience is before. It's just like it's the change of weather. That is why I'm using this and I'm protecting myself.
In Jos, I am Janet Asut.
The Jos Water Services Corporation has pledged to restore water supply to disconnected communities within the Greater Jos Master Plan. Managing Director of the corporation, Engineer Apollo Samchi, stated this during a vulnerability visit to Rukuba Road and some communities in Jos North and Jos South local government areas. Our correspondent tells us more.
Speaking during the vulnerability visit, Managing Director, Jos Water Services Corporation, Engineer Apollo Samchi, who highlighted reasons for the decade-long water disconnection to Rukuba Road and other communities, noted that the ongoing resuscitation of Yakubu Gowon and Lamingo treatment plants will address water challenges facing most areas within the Greater Jos Master Plan. Samchi, however, announced the construction of a 10,000-litre water kiosk as an immediate intervention to ease the water shortage at Rukuba Road. The vulnerability visit also took management of the Jos Water Services Corporation to Hilltop in Kabang, Jos North local government, as well as Rahul Ramun Gurajagang, both in Jos South local government area, where the managing director assured the communities that the time is now administration of Governor Caleb Mutfwang has invested over 13 billion naira in the water sector, urging residents to be patient as they will soon have access to potable drinking water.
Most of the interventions we are doing right now is a short-term intervention. But that is because already government has embarked on, the long-term solution, and that is the rehabilitation of the Yakubu Gowon Dam and the Lamingo water treatment plant, where we are rehabilitating all the machines, replacing some and rehabilitating. In fact, Yakubu Gowon Dam is going to have another dedicated power line, so that we will not have interruptions during our production.
Representatives of the traditional rulers, community development associations, youth and women leaders in separate responses applauded management of Jos Water Services Corporation for personally visiting the communities, stressing that it is an indication that the present leadership is committed to addressing the persistent water scarcity. The vulnerability visit demonstrates the commitment of the present leadership of the Jos Water Services Corporation to identify with communities facing water challenges for intervention.
The Plateau Environment Protection and Sanitation Agency, PEPSA, is informing the public that the routine monthly environmental sanitation exercise in the state will hold this Saturday, 28 February 2026, between the hours of 7 to 10 in the morning. During this period, there will be a strict restriction of movement as security personnel will be on ground to prosecute defaulters. Residents are therefore encouraged to utilize this period to thoroughly clean their surrounding and deposit same at designated areas for evacuation and PEPSA staff. And now to the foreign scene. UN sanctions paramilitary leaders over Sudan atrocities. AFP. More than 70,000 people have fled El Fasher, according to the UN Refugee Agency. The UN Security Council has announced new sanctions on 4 leaders of Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces over atrocities committed in the western Sudanese city of El Fasher. The Deputy Commander Abdul Rahim Hamdad Dagola and Brigadier General El Fattah Abdullahi Idris, more commonly called Abu Lulu, who became known as the Butcher of El Fasher, are among those proscribed. The others are RSF Deputy Commander Gedo Hamda Ahmad and Field Commander Tijani Ibrahim. A spokesman for TASIS, a coalition of civilian and armed groups led by the RSF, told the BBC the sanctions were unfair, saying they were based on what he described as partial and unnatural reports. The RSF's capture of the city in October was one of the most brutal chapters of Sudan's nearly 3-year civil war. Last week, a UN fact-finding mission concluded that the violent takeovers bore the hallmarks of a genocide. The RSF has admitted that violations were committed in El Fasher and says it is investigating them, but insists the scale of the atrocities has been exaggerated by enemies. In a response to the BBC, TASIS termed the accusation of killing civilians and preventing them from leaving El Fasher misleading. It said its forces had evacuated more than 800,000 civilians from El Fasher during the military operations there and provided them with food and medicine. This is the 4th time Dagolo has been sanctioned, following earlier designations by the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union. And that's the much we can take on this package. Stay tuned for global news at 6:30 p.m. and news updates at 10 p.m. Good afternoon.